How is everyone this morning? Beautiful, beautiful. Yes, we are awake. We are alive. We are joyful. We are perfection embodied, and that's what we're going to celebrate here today. Yes, right?
Yes.
But let us start with this reminder that I have for you. I'm here to remind you of your magnificence, to help you awake to all the wonder that you are. I long to show you all the joy you're worthy of. I'm here to remind you how much you're truly loved. I'm here to remind you of your magnificence, to help you awake to all the wonder that you are. I long to show you all the joy you're worthy of. I'm here to remind you how much you're truly loved. Yes. Good morning, and welcome to Tucson New Thought, our spiritual community where we gather every single Sunday to understand a principle, to live a teaching, to be reminded of the truth of who we are. And the truth of who we are is that each and every one of us is magnificence. That is the truth. I'm Reverend Jonathan Zenz. I am the spiritual director here, and it is such a joy to welcome you this morning. Tucson New Thought exists with this vision in mind, that we are here to create a world that works for everyone. And we do this by utilizing practical tools and teaching practical tools for personal transformation. And when we do this, we awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence. And in that magnificence is how we create that world that works for everyone. Because when we know who we are, when we remember who we are, when we remember that we are magnificence embodied and expressed, well, we must understand that about all people, about everyone we encounter. And that, for me, becomes the great equalizer and allows me to live in common unity with everyone. Yes, so we are here for connection, not just here at Tucson New Thought, but here in this world, to connect, to have interaction and to have relationship. And so what I would love for us to each and every one of us do, first of all, I do want to remind you, as I always say, you are magnificent. Yes, it says so right there, now that I've even put the light on it. Yeah, it sparkles. But I would love for us, now we're not going to stand up and do the milling about thing and greeting people, but I would love for us to just take a moment to look around and catch the eye of someone else and just recognize the magnificence that is them. Just make that connection. I'm going to invite Denise to join me. Hi, Denise. How are you today?
Good.
Yes, you are. I will affirm that. One of my favorite things we do every week and in every gathering is to do this ceremony that we call lighting the flames of faith. And in this ceremony, what we are doing is we are honoring all religious paths, all faith traditions, all spiritual ideologies, with the notion and understanding that each and every one of them is born and expressed from a golden thread of love. And so that is what we celebrate here. So for each candle that we light, we are doing just that. So we light a candle for the Tao. There we go. Oh, yeah. You may have to do that on all of them. Okay. Flip and flip. So we light a candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light a candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light a candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light a candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light a candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light a candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light a candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the divine will of love as the highest calling. We light a candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light a candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. We light a candle for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of spirit in their lives, and for the space that we are holding for them, and for all faith traditions unnamed in this ceremony. And this final candle we light is a candle to represent the healing of any circumstance which requires divinity to be revealed. This is your candle, to illuminate whatever is in your mind and in your heart that requires the light. Thank you. The candle to your left is our peace candle, and we keep that candle lit with the understanding that peace is illuminated in our hearts at all times, to the degree that we allow it. And so we honor this candle by utilizing this modified prayer for protection, which was written by James Dillett Freeman. So if you would read with me. Truly, the light of peace surrounds us, the love of peace enfolds us, the power of peace protects us, and the presence of peace watches over us. Wherever we are, peace is. Wherever we are, peace is. So let's take some peaceful moments of reflection as we move into a centering time. If it's comfortable, I invite you to close your eyes if you would like to, and allow your focus to fall to your breathing as you relax right where you are. Simply relaxing into the easy rhythm of your breath without force, just being aware that it is happening. There's nothing you need to do to make it happen. It simply flows in and out, in and out. Allow yourself to hear the words that I will speak of this month's affirmation, and allow yourself to repeat it using your inner voice, and be rooted in the feeling that it brings up for you. The affirmation is this: I transmit my highest frequency, joy, at all times and in all ways. I transmit my highest frequency, joy, at all times and in all ways. I invite you to sit with that for just a few moments. Gently now, allow yourself to become aware of the energy of love present in this room. That we are awash in love. That as we breathe in, we are breathing in love. As we breathe out, we are breathing out love. And this energy is shared in the great circulation of the universe. And using your inner voice, I invite you to repeat these words after me. I am here.
I am here.
I am fully present. I am open to a positive, inspiring experience for myself and this entire group.
We are held in the hands of grace, forever safe in the arms of love. Like a child receives protection from a mother's warm embrace, we are held in the hands of grace. We are held in the hands of grace, forever safe in the arms of love. Like a child receives protection from a mother's warm embrace, we are held in the hands of grace. I affirm in this moment and recognize and know that there is only one power, one creative energy, one presence, one source for all that is. And I know that we are that source, the impression of it and the expression of it right here and right now. And so I move forward with this in mind. We are held in the hands of grace, forever safe in the arms of love. Like a child receives protection from a mother's warm embrace, we are held in the hands of grace. We are held in the hands of grace. And so it is.
Thank you, Christy. I'm so grateful to have Christy in my life.
Me too.
If this is your first time here, you will see that it says Reverend Jonathan's Random Reading and Reflection. What I do in the 9 o'clock gathering is I don't do a prepared talk, or what people sometimes refer to as a sermon. It's weird to hear that word, isn't it? What I will do is ask you to please provide for me a number between 25 and 423.
238.
238 is the number. And I will turn to page 238 in the book. 238. Oh, interesting. Interesting. No. Well, so there are 1, 2, 3 paragraphs on this page, and I will invite you to let me know which paragraph I should look at. Paragraph 1? Okay. The paragraph starts like this. A practitioner must be filled with the spirit of divine compassion. He must have a deep underlying sense of unity and sympathy, or else he will do but little good. But he must not have sympathy with the dis-ease. The only guarantee of our divinity is in its expression through our humanity. Consequently, an enlightened soul understands the meaning of sympathy and exercises it, but not morbidly. I cannot tell you how many discussions we had about that paragraph when I was in ministerial. Because this is going to sound shocking, perhaps to many people, but I do not believe in engaging in sympathy as a practitioner of this philosophy. I don't believe in engaging in sympathy. And here's why. This philosophy was born out of the understanding that the mind creates the physical experience. That is the fundamental premise of one of the fundamental premises of what we teach, that the mind creates form. That we are all rooted and expressing as form because we were an idea in a universal mind that individualized itself as each and every one of us. So what that means is that if we have a dis-ease of the mind, that shows up as dis-ease in the physical form. I have experienced my mentor in ministry in 2010. I just had a chat with him this week. And in 2010, it came up in conversation that he was diagnosed with stage 4 throat cancer. And it was a shocking moment for him and for an entire community and for all of us who were very close to him, because I was working as his administrator at the time when I was going through ministerial studies. And, stage 4, there is no stage 5. There is no stage 5. And in that moment, it was really a challenge for his faith in this philosophy to say, do I have the faith that we teach that my mind creates my experience? And if this is a dis-ease of the mind showing itself in physical form, do I have the faith to utilize my mind in such a way that I can dissipate this experience? And the answer is yes. He did have that faith in mind. He did, absolutely. And that faith led him to the path that he went on for physical healing, which was to go through traditional Western medicine, to go through chemotherapy and radiation treatment. That was what he was led to do. The religious science movement and science of mind, we get a rap sometimes. And in fact, my mother, when I first started going to a religious science church, I'm using all these terms today when I started going to a spiritual center that was rooted in the science of mind and spirit, it's all words. When I started going, and I said, I found this philosophy that really resonates with my soul, and it's called religious science. And she said, oh my God, can you still go to doctors? Because that is a common misconception about religious science, because you hear religious science and perhaps you equate it with Christian science, which there is a belief in Christian science that you don't go to doctors, that it is 100% healed through the mind. And the truth is, we hold to that as well, but we also say, God is in the doctor. God is in the procedure. God is in the technique that is utilized, that has been divinely ordained through the expression of humanity to create healing in the world. It's all one. If we say it's all one thing, why would we say that traditional Western medicine or any kind of healing modality is separate from that? We can't. We cannot say that. So we hold very firmly that, yes, go to the doctor, take the pill, if that is what You are led to through your mental work, through your belief system, because it is done unto you as you believe. So as a practitioner, which I am first and foremost a practitioner of this philosophy, ministers always say that they are primarily practitioners. In the structure, it says the minister is the leader and the practitioners are subordinate to the minister, but that's a hierarchical structure that whatever. It's for organizational purposes. Practitioners are the heart of this organization. Absolutely the heart of this organization. The work that they are doing in their lives through spiritual mind treatment, also known as affirmative prayer, the work that they are doing is for the healing of humanity. And it is done right here. Each and every one of us are practitioners to the degree that we decide to be practitioners in our life, because practitioners are simply people who are putting this practice to work in their lives. So when he says a practitioner must be filled with the spirit of divine compassion, I want to start with understanding compassion. To say compassion is infinite, unlimited love. That when I'm with somebody, when I'm sitting with somebody and they're saying, I have stage 4 throat cancer, my go-to is not to go, oh my gosh, how awful is that? My go-to, I have trained my mind to go to this place. While I recognize that as a physical experience, I know a deeper truth. And I will hold you with loving arms as you move through this physical experience. And I know that my presence is a healing presence. And as such, healing is assured. So compassion is loving. Compassion is kindness. Compassion is saying, I am willing to be with you, to understand the deeper truth. They must have a deep underlying sense of unity and sympathy, or else they will do but little good. Now, they must have a deep underlying sense of unity and sympathy. Now, I started off by saying, I don't go down the sympathy road. I don't do that anymore. Remember, this book is an edition that was written in 1938. We've evolved to a deeper understanding. I believe that he is trying to align the idea of sympathy with compassion, to say, when I'm in sympathy to what is happening for you, that is simply another way of saying I'm in love. But sympathy, if you look at the root of the word, it goes down to aligning yourself with the feeling of another person. So if somebody comes to me and says, I am experiencing stage 4 throat cancer, the worst thing I can do is, like I said before, go into that sympathetic state of, oh, how awful. What are you going to do? That sympathetic state is not a state of healing. And I do nothing to support the healing of that person in front of me. So I don't go down the road of sympathy. Now, the other word that gets a lot of challenge is empathy, right? Because, did anyone watch Star Trek: The Next Generation? Yes, right? And so Counselor Deanna Troi, a betazoid, she was an empath, right? She was the counselor on the ship, and part of her thing is that as a betazoid, that race of the planet wherever she was from, which was she was not a human, but her whole thing was that she could feel what other people were feeling, and that gave great counsel to the people who were on that starship. So when we talk about empathy, it is again taking on the feelings of another person, which may or may not be in alignment with their healing. So I say, sympathy, empathy, to the degree that they are in alignment with the good of the person, great. But if they are not in alignment with the good of the person, then we need to step back and say, you know what? No, I know a higher truth, and I'm going to stand in compassion. Compassion. I will work with you with an open and loving heart. So when he he continues here. He says, but they must not have sympathy with the disease, and that's what I'm talking about. Is to say, when somebody says, I have dis-ease, note the word dis-ease, When I have dis-ease, if the practitioner goes into sympathy with the form, then we are not utilizing our mind. We are saying the form is dominant. But the mind is dominant, right? And the mind creates the form. So the mind can recreate the form, and recreate the form, and recreate the form. That's the truth. That's what I hold to. The only guarantee of our divinity is in its expression through our humanity. Our humanity is and must be, I believe, rooted in loving kindness. That is how I believe well, you know what? You decide what you want to do for yourself. I'm going to choose for myself that I'm going to give myself a directive this week for myself. And if you would like to take this directive on for yourself this week, I encourage you to do so. But my directive to myself this week is to be in more loving kindness than I have ever been before. Because there's always room for more. There's always room to grow. There's always more because the nature of the divine is infinite. So there's no end to the degree with which we can express and experience loving kindness. So I'm going to be on high watch this week for myself to say, if I am at Starbucks and there's a long line, because that's what it always boils down to, that or driving, right? If I am in a situation where I feel challenged by the circumstances of the world, my responsibility is to take care of my own mind, not blame it on anybody else. I'm not pointing at Aiden purposefully. He's listening to his headphones. He doesn't even, hi. What's up? No, it's okay. It's just a funny. So I'm going to be loving and kind in every situation. I mean, imagine if we all truly committed to that worldwide. Would that not create a world that works for everyone? That's what I want. And so I will make the commitment in this moment, irrespective of any past experience or behavior. In this moment, I can make a new commitment to my kind and loving nature in this world. And so I do so with the understanding that sympathy, empathy are not necessities, but compassion absolutely is a necessity. So that's what I leave you with today. Namaste. Now I will tell you, paragraph 2 comes under the heading of heart trouble. But that clearly is for another time. So I'm going to invite you to allow yourself to take whatever it is you've heard today. Surrender anything unlike it and simply let it go.
Surrender, let it go. Surrender, let it all go. All the fears, all the doubts, all the pain, all the wounds, feelings of being alone. Surrender, let it go. Right in this moment, I rest assured in the knowledge that there is only one thing going on. There is only one source. There is only one creative power. There's only one forward-moving energy. I recognize it as ineffable, infinite, omniscient, omnipresent. It is beyond words, and yet I allow myself to recognize and call it something, utilizing words. I know it as love. This energy of love is infused in and expressing itself in all creation, for all creation is this love. And this is inclusive of each and every one of us. We are the love of the divine, flowing forth, having its magnificent experience on this plane of action. And trusting this, knowing this, allowing this, and with great reverence for this, I know that my mind creates my experience, and I know that that is true for each and every one of us. Our minds create our experience. And so I call upon my own mind to root itself in deeper loving kindness, to root itself in the light, to root itself in joy. And I trust that the rooting of my mind in these attributes shows up as the experience and expression of my life. And so my experience and expression of life becomes more kind, becomes more loving, and becomes more joyful. Trusting in this, I relax in this moment with a grateful heart and trust and allow, as I release this word, knowing it to be so. I breathe in and relax into the perfect flow, as together we say, and so it is. Don't you know life is here? Don't you know light is here? Don't you know love is here? Let it all go. Surrender the doubts and the fears. Let it all go. Just allowing ourselves to have that space, that moment. Tucson New Thought is a community that is supported entirely through your generosity. And I am so grateful for all that everyone offers and donates to the center that allows us to root ourselves in the vision and expand this vision through our mission. And so I'm going to invite you to take out whatever it is you're offering the center today. Your investment, your gift, your contribution, your tithe, it doesn't matter what you call it. Those are simply limiting words and limiting ideas for that which is ineffable, for it is love in action. That's what I know it to be. What matters is the energy of sharing love. There are many options for giving: cash, check, credit card. We do all that, right? And if you're online watching us, you can click on that donate button, also important, to participate in this activity of giving as well. I am grateful to you for your support and for the blessings that you share and for your commitment to the vision and mission of Tucson New Thought. So as you hold this, let's root ourselves in the feeling of our divine givingness statement. Let's read this together. Divine love consecrates my gift.
It goes forth to heal, prosper, and bless. It is evidence of my conviction that spirit is the source and substance of my supply. I joyously contribute to the vision of my spiritual center, knowing that it returns to me, multiplied abundantly. It does. So do you mind, Karaman? Karaman's going to pass the basket around, and grateful for her doing that. As she does so, a couple of things that I do want to let you know about. Of course, can you believe it's Tuesday? It's Tuesday. This coming Tuesday, we're doing a book launch gala at Unity of Tucson, which is up on Camino Blanco. Christy and her writing partner, Rick Chavez, have written a book called Legacy. There's the book. Yes, I have done a completely revised version of my book, Thoughts Are Things, and our friend Eliza Bloom Robinson, who is currently serving as the Unity Minister, has written her book, Shiro's Journey. And so the four of us came together and said, let's launch our 3 books into the world in a collective experience. So we're doing a book launch gala that is going to include a nice, lovely evening of hors d'oeuvres, entertainment, music, readings, and the opportunity to purchase the book at a discounted rate and have us sign it as well. We would love, I would love to have your support, have you come and join us for this celebration. It's at 5:30, that's when the doors open, and the presentation and special performances begin at 6:30. I'm singing a new song, and it's a hard song too, that's all I'm gonna say. See, if I don't tell them what the song is, if I decide that I want to change it at the last minute, then nobody knows.
And Christy's doing something special.
Yes.
I just got that Shiro is a female hero.
Yes, Shiro. Yeah.
Something special that Christy's doing too.
Sorry?
Aren't you doing something special too?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
At the end, we're going to be toning
Yeah,
as
yeah.
a group.
Yeah. Super excited about that. Yeah. Toning. Yeah. If you come for no other reason, you should come to experience toning. It's really incredible. I mean, come for me to sing too, but you get to hear me sing every week. I also want to let you know that, guided meditation always continues at 6 p.m. on Wednesdays right here in this room. We would love to have you join us for that. Just a few other items to remind you of. We do reuse our handouts, so you are welcome to take them, but if you are not going to take them, please go ahead, put them back on the table, and we will reutilize them for the rest of the month. Also, if you have a request for prayer support, we have forms on the table there. You can fill that out, put it into the yes box there. I love calling it the yes box because it says, yes, I am ready for healing in my life. Whatever it is that you are experiencing, it can be healed, and we engage healing through the mental use of affirmative prayer. That's how it all begins. So you can do that. Also, as I always like to say, the moment you lay your intention out and write it out that you are ready for healing, that's the instant the healing begins. If you're joining us for the first time today and you're not already on our email list, we would love to include you as part of that, and we will give you the gift of 5 pre-recorded prayers that I have crafted and recorded for the purpose of supporting you in the primary areas of your life. So you will get that right away, and then there's some other emails that come out, but then you also get to know what's happening here at Tucson New Thought. Isn't that a good thing? It's a wonderful thing. If you would, please carry on. Let's just take this moment of reflection right here and right now to know that what has been collected here is the energy of love in action. And I live in deep gratitude for it. I am so blessed. We are, each and every one of us, so blessed by this experience. And I know that these funds are utilized with the highest integrity of the leadership of this organization. And so, living in this place of faith, I know and trust that this is all God in action. And this is who and what we are. And so I simply let it be as I welcome the blessings, live in gratitude for the blessings. I know it to be so. As I release this word, and breathe in and out, saying together, and so it is. Thank you. I want to say thank you to Aiden on our technical support today. I want to say thank you to Marvis, who is our greeter today. I'm going to say thank you to Karimon for her support and Denise for your support, because we're all in this together as a community, and how magnificent is that? I do want to say I honor and am so grateful for Christy and your presence in my life and your magnificent piano playing. And I was asked a question about the importance of music in my ministry, and I said it is one of the most important aspects of what I do, and you have blessed my life, so thank you. And so with that, let us finish out the day. Yes?
Would you tell people that you're performing this afternoon?
I will tell people that I'm performing this afternoon. I will say, though, that I have this thing where if it's not specifically a Tucson New Thought thing, I don't tend to make the announcement. But I am performing with Reveille Men's Chorus. We've been doing shows all weekend. We had one on Friday, 2 yesterday, and we have one more show today at 2 o'clock at the Leo Rich Theater. I'm grateful that you were there yesterday. Karimon was there yesterday. It is just, you know what? It's an unlikely holiday offering. So it's a holiday offering, but I think you'll recognize maybe 3 of the songs. Otherwise, it's all like new music. Well, it's not all new music, but it's unique and it's fun and we just have a good time. Yeah, so Logan, who's a member of our center, also sings in Reveille, and they are actually the star of the show. But if you want to know more about that, you'll have to come and see it. So thank you for prompting me to do that. I started off by saying I'm here to remind you, but let us affirm as we close that we remember who we are.
I remember who I am. I remember who you are, and who we are is pure spirit. I remember who I am. I remember who you are, and who we are is pure spirit. We are life, we are love, we are light. We are joy, we are peace, we are wisdom, and beautiful harmony. We are pure spirit. I remember who I am. I remember who you are, and who we are is pure spirit. I remember who I am. I remember who you are, and who we are is pure spirit. Who we are is pure spirit. Have a great week, everyone. Thank you so much.